Caleb's parents recently realized that their son was acting strange when going to school. He never wanted anyone to touch his backpack. At first, his parents did not think much of it. But one day, Caleb's father noticed that his son's backpack was extremely full. He had no idea what Caleb was carrying with him, so he decided to take a look. When opening the bag, he saw a lot of diapers. He was confused. What was his son hiding from them? Caleb's father, Noah, decided he wouldn't just confront his son. He thought this would not be the best course of action. It was better to let Caleb tell them himself. But it grew from bad to worse. Both Noah and his wife Jessica let Caleb do his thing for a while. But he grew even more secretive about what he was doing. It reached a boiling point when he went to Jessica for more money. This was too much for Noah. Noah went to the principal to try to make sense of the situation. He asked him to confirm what his teacher was already telling him about Caleb. The principal told Noah that his son was very quiet as of late. It was like he was not even present at school, that his mind was elsewhere. The only time that he showed some energy was when someone came close to his bag. There was even more that Noah did not know about. Caleb was recently kicked out of one of his classes because he wasn't listening. The teacher felt bad for him, but he had to kick Caleb out to make an example. Noah had to ask Caleb's fellow students about the recent events. Caleb's friends told the exact same story as his teacher and the principal. Caleb had recently changed seemingly out of nowhere. Ever since the last holiday, Caleb wasn't the same anymore. Noah knew what was in the backpack, but for what purpose was Caleb constantly bringing diapers to school? Was there something more in the bag? Noah tried talking to his son when he came back home that day. He first looked in his son's backpack, which was carefully stashed away in his room. However, the bag was completely empty. This raised even more questions. What was he doing with them? Caleb straight up refused to talk to his parents. They thought he was ashamed of something or hiding something more than just the diapers. Noah decided to follow his son to school the next day. At a safe distance, he had to know what Caleb was up to. Only then could he confront him. This morning would get an enormous twist. Caleb did seem to take the bus. He had once again filled up his backpack from what it seemed. Noah kept following the bus. There was nothing out of the ordinary, but he saw that his son was once again sitting alone. Then something happened. At the last stop before school, Caleb gets off. Noah quickly parked his car to track Caleb on foot, but this seemed to be a difficult task. Where was he going? After about 15 minutes of following his son, he completely lost track of where he was. Noah looked around for a couple of minutes, but there was no sign of Caleb. Noah quickly drove to school to see if he could intercept Caleb. Caleb was arriving after a whole hour had passed. Noah was extremely confused. Noah now had even more questions. When Caleb turned the corner, Noah saw that his son's backpack was completely empty. Where did all of the diapers go? He had to have left them somewhere. This could not be good. Maybe Caleb is involved in something illegal. He had to confront him now. Noah jumped out of the car and rushed over to Caleb. Caleb almost fell over when he saw his dad approaching him. Noah pulled the bag out of Caleb's hands and opened it. It was completely empty. There wasn't even any food, drinks, or money in it. Caleb also did not seem like he carried any books with him. Caleb instantly started crying, like he was caught. But he still did not say anything, because Noah was so concerned for his son's safety. He decided he wouldn't push Caleb. He told the principal he would take him home, which the principal agreed to. Luckily, it was one day before the holiday, so Noah could keep an eye on his son. But this wasn't the end. Noah decided to talk to his wife, Jessica, about what to do with their son's situation. They both found it very difficult to come up with an idea to make Caleb talk. However, Jessica had an idea to figure out what Caleb was up to without him noticing. Jessica suggested putting a tracking device in Caleb's backpack. For the rest of the holiday, Caleb locked himself into his room because he was grounded. He refused to come out during the day. It even got so bad that he did not want to eat or shower. Caleb even tried to climb out the window once but was caught by Jessica. Luckily, nothing else happened during the holiday. But Caleb, at one point, even stopped speaking to his parents. They had heard him in his room doing something with his backpack. They had already put the tracker inside of it. Did he find it? During the last couple of days of the holiday, Caleb acted quite normal. Noah did not trust this. He had the feeling that his son was being very manipulative. He tried acting really nice so that he might be able to go outside with his backpack, but he wasn't allowed to. When school started again, they could not keep Caleb inside any longer. They were hesitant to let their son go outside on his own, but they had to. Luckily, Caleb had not found the tracking device in his backpack. It was now or never. Caleb had stuffed his bag once again. This time, it seemed like he packed even more in his backpack. It was crucial that they would get to the bottom of what he was doing today. They followed Caleb at a safe distance, and once again, he got off at the same stop. On the tracking app, they see that he is walking for almost 30 minutes to a remote location. They see that he stops for around 10 minutes at one location and then walks back. This must be the place where he drops the diapers off. Noah told Jessica to wait for a couple of minutes to check out the area. They had to make sure Caleb was gone. When going to the location, Noah is completely in shock. They enter a very old and poor area of the city. Noah gasped when they walked a bit further. They were now in a really old trailer park. Jessica felt very unsafe. What was their son doing here? It did not make any sense to them. There is a lot of criminal activity here in the area, but they had to figure out what Caleb was doing. Noah went up to a couple of trailers. There were still people living in these old trailers. He knocked on a few doors and asked if they had seen Caleb recently. A young woman opens the door. This is totally not what Noah and Jessica expected. They had no idea who they had in front of them. They introduced themselves, but were hesitant to mention Caleb at first. The woman was very quiet. They asked if she had seen a young boy recently, but she closes the door. This is not what Noah expected. The woman did not seem keen to talk to them. People in this area almost trust no one. And again, she probably thinks Noah and Jessica are undercover police officers or something. But then Noah mentions he is the father of Caleb. When mentioning Caleb, something unexpected happens. The woman actually immediately opens the door again. She asks for proof that he is the father of Caleb. Luckily, Noah can convince the woman. She now suddenly seems keen to help them. She instantly lets them in. She told Noah and Jessica that she was a poor standalone mother. She had this child when she was only 18 and could not fully care for her daughter because she had money problems. Caleb then promised to help her out. She was so embarrassed that she could not even afford diapers that she did not want to tell anyone. Caleb promised not to tell anyone, but he also promised to bring her enough diapers for the baby. He also spent the rest of his money on food for the baby. Noah sighed. Caleb was too shy to tell his parents that he was helping a stranger care for a baby and that he was acting so mysterious. This was a huge relief for both Jessica and Noah. They thought their son was involved in something illegal. They invited women to live with them in their house. They also thanked Caleb for being such a good person. Caleb started acting normal again and got good grades at school again. Eventually, the woman found work as well and could provide very well for her child.